6 months prior in Manhattan, Madison Claire Reynolds readied herself in her tight studio apartment for a Versace casting call that held the potential to radically alter her professional path. At 23, her remarkable looks had already paved the way for a thriving modeling career, yet she never lost touch with her modest beginnings in Vermont. The immense sacrifices her parents made to fuel her ambitions remained a constant, daily reminder and responsibility. Succeeding in this campaign represented more than just career advancement. It was the key to achieving financial stability and fulfilling her long-held promise to bring her parents to New York City. Her actual living situation, sharing a small space above a Korean restaurant with 2 others, stood in stark contrast to the luxurious image she projected professionally. Before driving her to the audition, her best friend Jake Morrison, a photographer and her most trusted confidant, offered both coffee and much-needed reassurance during her anxious preparation. En route to the casting, Madison's fingers brushed nervously against a slight anomaly behind her ear, which she attributed to the stress of the day. However, once inside the studio under the intense glare of professional lighting, this minor flaw became impossible to ignore. Efforts by the makeup artist to hide it proved futile, and the esteemed photographer's irritation grew visibly as the imperfection disrupted the lighting setups and compromised the quality of the test shots. Despite Jake's insistence that the bump was trivial, Madison departed convinced that this seemingly insignificant detail had cost her the crucial opportunity. The encounter left her with a deep-seated feeling that the career she had painstakingly constructed was precarious, vulnerable to being undermined by the smallest defect after years of relentless effort and personal sacrifice. That same night, Madison dedicated an hour to scouring the internet for explanations about the small, painless lump behind her ear, which was undeniably increasing in size, but found no clear answers. Her worst fears materialized just 2 days later when her agent relayed the news. The Versace campaign was lost. The vague justification cited extensive editing requirements, a crushing blow that felt entirely due to a flaw smaller than a dime. By the time 3 weeks had passed, Madison was seated in the plush waiting area of an exclusive dermatology clinic on Manhattan's Upper East Side. The bump had expanded to the size of a grape, defying any attempt at complete concealment. This visible imperfection had already cost her additional modeling jobs, as photographers grumbled about the excessive time needed to digitally erase it from images. Dr. Summers conducted a swift examination, diagnosing the growth as a common sebaceous cyst, likely caused by blocked pores from frequent heavy product use. Prescribing a retinoid cream, the doctor confidently assured Madison the cyst was harmless and posed no health risk. Initially relieved, Madison shared this diagnosis with her parents during a video call, carefully angling the camera to avoid showing the noticeable lump. However, as the weeks rolled on, the prescribed cream failed to produce any improvement. Instead, the cyst continued its relentless growth, becoming tender when touched. Alongside this physical change, Madison began experiencing persistent, unexplained fatigue and aching joints. The constant anxiety and poor sleep started etching their mark visibly on her face, manifesting as deep shadows beneath her eyes and a lackluster skin tone that even professional makeup struggled to mask. Observing her visible decline, Jake intervened, insisting she seek another medical opinion. He facilitated an introduction to his cousin Rachel, a nurse practitioner working out of a modest, unadorned practice in Brooklyn. Filled with a mounting dread that this issue extended far beyond mere cosmetics, Madison finally reached out to Rachel. In Rachel's warm, attentive presence, Madison detailed her entire spectrum of symptoms. For the first time since this ordeal began, she felt genuinely heard and understood. Finding a measure of comfort in Rachel's approach, within the unassuming walls of Rachel Morrison's Brooklyn clinic, Madison experienced something profoundly different: genuine attentiveness. Rachel listened without interruption as Madison described every symptom: the relentlessly expanding lump, the constant exhaustion, the mysterious aches in her joints, before conducting a meticulous, half-hour physical assessment. Troubled by the atypical nature of Madison's condition, Rachel felt a specialist was needed and promptly arranged a referral to Dr. Harrison Webb, a physician renowned for unraveling complex medical enigmas. Dr. Webb's practice radiated an atmosphere of seasoned competence. He began by gathering an exhaustive personal and family history, probing deeply into her grandmother's youthful struggles with an undiagnosed condition affecting her skin and joints. His subsequent physical examination was exceptionally thorough, leading him to immediately reject the prior diagnosis of a simple cyst. Suspecting deeper systemic issues, he ordered a comprehensive panel of blood tests designed to uncover potential autoimmune or inflammatory diseases. While Madison felt a wave of relief at finally being acknowledged and investigated seriously, this was quickly overshadowed by a deep-seated terror. The possibility of a significant, unidentified illness loomed large. Her modeling career was already disintegrating. Her agent delivered a stark ultimatum: resolve the visible problem swiftly or face being dropped. Jake remained a steadfast source of comfort throughout the tense waiting period for test results, yet Madison found it increasingly arduous to maintain a facade of normalcy during calls with her anxious parents. As her anxiety intensified and her health subtly but perceptibly worsened, Madison felt profoundly caught between the life she had known and a frighteningly uncertain future. On a Thursday morning, Madison received the call summoning her to Dr. Webb's office to review her test results. Jake accompanied her, providing quiet reassurance as they entered the familiar, book-lined space. Dr. Webb delivered the diagnosis with solemn gravity: dermatomyositis, a rare autoimmune disease where her immune system was mistakenly attacking her own muscle and skin tissues. The bump behind her ear, he explained, was a Gottron's papule, a hallmark sign of the condition that was frequently overlooked or misdiagnosed. The prescribed treatment would be aggressive and fundamentally alter her daily existence. It involved high-dose corticosteroids combined with immunosuppressants, medications carrying significant side effects including facial swelling, substantial weight gain, hair thinning, and a heightened vulnerability to infections. Dr. Webb cautioned that the therapy would likely make her feel considerably worse before any improvement was seen, and the regimen could extend for months, potentially years. However, he stressed the critical nature of starting immediately. Without treatment, the disease could prove fatal, progressively damaging vital organs like the heart and lungs. Dr. Webb then shared a deeply personal connection to her diagnosis. 12 years earlier, his own daughter, Elizabeth, had succumbed to the same disease after a tragically delayed diagnosis. His profound loss underscored the vital importance of Madison's early detection and the urgent need to begin treatment. While he acknowledged that the physical transformations caused by the medication would inevitably end her modeling career, he offered a crucial counterpoint: with proper, consistent care, she had a realistic chance of achieving remission and reclaiming a normal, healthy life. Practical concerns about affording the expensive medications were partially eased when Dr. Webb assured her he would personally assist in navigating insurance complexities and pharmaceutical assistance programs. The full weight of her new reality settled upon Madison. Her identity, so intrinsically tied to youth and physical beauty, was irrevocably transformed. Yet, surrounded by Jake's unwavering loyalty and Dr. Webb's deeply personal commitment born of his own tragedy, Madison found the strength to confront a future where survival, not perfection, became the paramount goal. Madison fully absorbed the crushing finality of her diagnosis, accepting that her modeling career was irrevocably finished. Dr. Webb offered a gentle but firm perspective shift, reminding her that her future wasn't ending, merely taking a drastically different form. That same evening, she gathered her courage and confessed everything to her parents during a video call. Without a moment's hesitation, they announced they were packing the car and driving down immediately, refusing to let her endure the coming struggle in isolation. Swallowing her first dose of prednisone felt like ingesting the bitter end of her old life. Her parents stood steadfastly beside her in Dr. Webb's office as the treatment commenced. The physical transformation was alarmingly swift and brutally harsh. Within mere days, her face swelled dramatically into the characteristic moon face, caused by high-dose steroids. Her once defined cheekbones vanished, her eyes narrowed within puffy tissue, and the reflection staring back from the mirror felt like a stranger. The medication also unleashed relentless hunger, rapid and significant weight gain, and left her skin fragile and prone to bruising at the slightest touch. Introducing methotrexate intensified the ordeal exponentially. The weekly injections triggered severe nausea and profound exhaustion, while her hair began shedding in alarming clumps. The emotional toll became overwhelming. She felt imprisoned within a body that no longer felt like her own. Her modeling agent formally dropped her, former colleagues gradually distanced themselves, and her once active social media presence dwindled to silence as she stopped posting carefully curated images of a life that no longer existed. Financial strain compounded the deepening crisis. Her parents took on extra jobs and moved into a cramped apartment in Queens solely to help shoulder the burden of her mounting medical expenses. When Dr. Webb cautiously suggested participation in a clinical trial for a new drug, Madison felt utterly buried under the relentless weight of uncertainty and the cumulative toll of debilitating side effects. 4 months after her diagnosis, she reached a shattering breaking point. Standing alone in her parents' bathroom, she confronted her reflection, a swollen, thin-haired visage utterly unrecognizable as the woman she once was. Overwhelmed by despair, she picked up a pair of scissors. As she mechanically cut away the sparse remnants of her hair, she watched the last visible fragments of her former identity fall to the floor, confronting a profound and painful rebirth she felt utterly unprepared for. Her breaking point crystallized moments later when her mother, Sarah, found her collapsed on the cold bathroom floor, sobbing uncontrollably, bald and still clutching the scissors after hacking away her remaining hair. "I want to die," Madison whispered, her voice raw with anguish, unable to reconcile the stranger in the mirror with her own sense of self. Sarah instantly pulled her into a fierce, protective embrace, her voice unwavering as she declared, "You are not your hair or your face. You're my daughter fighting for her life, and I've never been prouder." That night, overhearing her parents' tearful conversation in the kitchen solidified her resolve. Her mechanic father confessed his helplessness. "I can fix engines but not this," while her nurse mother affirmed their unwavering commitment. "We'll love her through it." Their unconditional support, demonstrated by abandoning their Vermont life to crowd into a Queens studio apartment, became her essential anchor. She agreed to Dr. Webb's proposed clinical trial, embracing the uncertainty largely for her parents' sake. 6 months later, while awaiting treatment, an unexpected lifeline arrived, a call from Amanda Chin of Authentic Beauty. Inspired by Jake's photography blog documenting Madison's journey, Amanda proposed featuring her in their Real Beauty Real Stories campaign, which showcased women redefining beauty through resilience and lived experience. Meeting Amanda for coffee, Madison heard a challenge to industry norms. "We've sold impossible standards for too long. Your story reveals beauty as courage, not perfection." The campaign's visuals featured unretouched women, cancer survivors, mothers with stretch marks, individuals with disabilities. The offer included crucial financial security for Madison's family and a powerful platform to support others facing similar struggles. After consulting her parents, Tom saw vital financial relief. Sarah worried about her emotional readiness, and Jake, who revealed messages of gratitude from women worldwide who felt seen through her story. Madison accepted. She stipulated conditions: partial fees donated to autoimmune research, Dr. Webb's medical expertise integrated into the campaign messaging, and uncompromising honesty about the difficult realities of chronic illness. Amanda embraced these terms, recognizing their potential to transform exploitative narratives into genuine advocacy. The first photo shoot captured Madison receiving her weekly injection in Dr. Webb's office, unflinchingly documenting her steroid-swollen face and bald head. Dr. Webb, initially hesitant about the exposure, became a vocal advocate. "If her courage helps even one person get diagnosed earlier, we've accomplished something profoundly meaningful." The accompanying documentary revealed Madison's daily reality: morning stiffness and pain, crushing fatigue, and tender moments with her parents and Jake. For the first time since her diagnosis, Madison felt liberated, photographed not for flawlessness, but for her authentic, resilient self. The public response was seismic. Campaign videos went viral, news outlets clamored for interviews, and thousands shared their own medical journeys online. Dr. Webb later shared the campaign's tangible impact. "I've received over 200 referrals from young women whose symptoms might have been dismissed. You've potentially saved lives." One evening, watching the sunset from their new apartment, Jake proposed with a simple gold ring. "I've loved you since we met, but never more than now," he confessed. Madison, bald and swollen from medication, replied without hesitation, "Yes." 2 years later, Madison stood before a mirror in a Vermont chapel. Her hair had regrown in soft waves. Her cheekbones were softened but radiant. The faint scar behind her ear, a permanent testament to her journey, peeked subtly beneath her curls. Dr. Webb and her father walked her down the aisle together. At the altar, Jake wept openly as Madison vowed, "You loved me more when I stopped trying to be perfect." His vows echoed the campaign's core truth: real beauty isn't something you possess, it's something you become. Ultimately, the illness that shattered her former existence gifted her a deeper understanding. Imperfection, vulnerability, and enduring love had forged a kind of beauty that transcended anything a camera could ever capture. The Vermont church hall, transformed for the wedding reception and overflowing with wildflowers gathered from Madison's childhood meadow, radiated warmth and elicited tears. Dr. Webb's toast honored Madison for achieving what his late daughter Elizabeth never could. Through your foundation, you're ensuring thousands of children receive early diagnosis. You've given Elizabeth a way to keep saving lives. Amanda Chen celebrated Madison's profound cultural impact. You redefined courage as the willingness to tell the unvarnished truth about our struggles. A video message from Sarah Chin, the lupus patient who had written to Madison years earlier, drew audible sobs from the guests. Now a pre-med student and activist, Sarah declared, "You taught me that our scars tell powerful stories of survival, not shame." Later, seeking a quiet moment on the chapel steps beneath firelit skies, Madison and Dr. Webb reflected. When he asked if she regretted leaving modeling behind, her reply shone with clarity: "These last 2 years, sick, visibly imperfect, have been my happiest. I finally understand who I am beyond a reflection." She then gently reframed his enduring grief. "Elizabeth's love, channeled through you, is still actively saving lives. That is her true, living legacy." Their honeymoon took an unexpected turn. A medical conference in Chicago where Madison addressed 500 professionals. True healing, she urged the audience, isn't just about fixing perceived brokenness, but helping people recognize what was never broken within them. Doctors later confessed her personal narrative had fundamentally reshaped their approach to patient care. 6 months after the wedding, remission arrived, a state of controlled calm, not a cure. Sitting surrounded by wedding photos, stacks of advocacy letters, and one unexpected ultrasound image, Jake whispered, "Can you believe we'll be parents?" Madison smiled, her hand resting protectively where new life grew. The young woman who once prayed for impossible perfection now cherished deeper, richer gifts, a love that saw her scars as strength, a purpose forged in pain, and the radiant freedom of being unapologetically real. Ultimately, her greatest blessing arrived disguised as her worst nightmare, a powerful testament that sometimes, to discover your true self, you must first lose everything you once believed mattered most. That's all about our stories. Do you have any thoughts after hearing the story? Please share it in the comments below.